What a wild market it's been in the last couple of months here. And of course, a wild start to the month. We've had a very volatile, very large push up in the markets here. And of course, if we take a look at the last move and specifically this low here in April 1st of last year, we have obviously had a very large move, creating imbalances on this leg from this low to this high, retracing and now seeing a little bit of strength here, right? So what were my targets, as we've discussed in the community, in the blueprint community, of course, and what am I looking for next? Where are my targets? What levels do I want to see respect? What levels do I not want to see be respected? Pretty much all disrespected levels is what I'm looking at. So we'll start off on the monthly here, and as you guys know, the level that I was looking for here is this monthly BISI and this monthly imbalance. Why? Between this low and this high, we have a fair value gap, right? Price needs to draw to this level to seek a discount. Between this low and this high, we are slowly starting to head to discount. What is a discount and how is that defined? It is below 50% of this entire range, or of a range, of a swing low to a swing high, right? Are we at discount yet? Quite not there just yet. However, we need to look at these specific PD arrays, such as this fair value gap here, and see if price respects it, right? We're very early into the month. We've seen a very large push up. We had a 700, 800 point candle or something like that within a day, which is really crazy. 4 weeks of selling, pretty much bought back within 2 weeks, right? So I also do want to cover that as well. As you can see here, we've headed into this weekly fair value gap here, as well as this monthly fair value gap. There is a strong level here, right? Again, we're not using support and resistance. This is all ICT concepts. And again, this is our fair value gap here. This is our BISI. Okay, BISI, fair value gap, same exact thing. If you're not familiar with ICT, make sure you go check that out. I want to go back to the monthly chart real quick to mark a very important level, right? With ICT concepts, we know that price pretty much takes liquidity, right? If we look at a trend line like this or lower highs like this is all low resistance liquidity that needs to be taken. This is a magnet for price, right? And with these all-time highs being up here, we have a high here and a high here, right? So what am I looking for next? This volume balance we discussed in the premium group multiple times, right? Where we've discussed that's a potential draw on liquidity, right? We see a very, very strong indicator or indication here that price is going to push up. We talked about this last week. And I'm going to bring up an indicator here that I use all the time. And it is an indicator and a framework that Nine and I in the Blueprint community have created, right? This comes in the premium group, right? You get access to these indicators. One is the MBZ Model Pro, right? This marks MBZs, right? MBZ stands for median body zone. It is an indication that price is potentially reversing or continuing, right? As you can see here, we have a bearish MBZ, right? This is an MBZ, this entire range. What happened right after we have this box form? Price pushed down, right? We have a bullish box here. And what happened here? Price pushed up, right? How MBZs work is we identify fair value gaps. In this case, since we're on the weekly time frame here, we used a weekly fair value gap to identify this MBZ. What an MBZ is a 2-candle pattern. We're looking at 2 candles, one being down closed and then an up closed candle in a bullish scenario, right? 50% of this candle, of the body of this candle, if I draw a fib here, 50% of this candle was pretty much closed above on. And as you can see, we pretty much closed well above this entire candle. Now, this is nothing close to, bullish engulfing or bearish engulfing and whatnot. This is very, very specific to ICT concepts. We're finding an imbalance. We're finding a range. We're identifying an MBZ. We're looking at OHLC to identify these larger continuations or larger reversal patterns here. And this is a 2-candle pattern. It only consists of 2 candles. It doesn't matter, if there's 3 candles, 3 bullish candles, whatever, you're only looking at 2 candles here, right? Alongside this, right, we have those PD arrays. We have these ICT PD arrays. We're looking at this volume balance. So we had this MBZ here. Again, the indicator automatically marks it for us. That's the beauty of that indicator. If I go down to the daily now, I do want to cover this a little bit. So we'll just give the indicator a second here to load again. And as you can see here, we also have a daily MBZ, right? We have a very, very large daily MBZ candle here. We wicked into it and then continue to push up higher, right? Indicator is very customizable. I do want to add a little something here. I want to add our projections, right? These are our MBZ projections. You'll notice them pop on right now. Once this MBZ forms, that means you're looking to the upside. At least this -1 standard deviation or projection level here needs to be traded into. And as you can see, we've traded to that and well above that, as well as to our weekly volume balance, or sorry, monthly volume balance, right? Another indicator that I like to use alongside the MBZ model, combining these two, is extremely powerful, right? And that would pretty much be the MBZ model fractal indicator, the power of 3 indicators here, right? So here are PO3 candles. It's very simple, right? We're on the daily chart. We're marking higher time frame MBZs. That's it. We're looking at higher time frame candles and we're marking them. So if I go into this indicator here, I can enable more PO3 candles. And again, I have this set to auto, so if I'm on the daily chart, it'll automatically show me. There we go. We're now seeing the weekly chart here. So what's important about this? Why is this important? How can we use this to our advantage? So on and so forth, right? It's the biggest question. If I go ahead and view this, let's go ahead and view this indicator again. Just disable that and then enable that one there. I just want to have a view on the weekly chart. And as you can see here, we see a loading screen. Beautiful. So if we take a look here, this is where we have a higher time frame MBZ and a lower time frame one, right? I'm on the daily chart, but I also have the weekly chart here offer me a bullish signal, right? Obviously, the week doesn't quite end until later on, right? So until Friday. But as you can see here, we have a weekly MBZ and a daily MBZ. What does this suggest to us? This suggests that price is going to trade higher into a premium momentarily, right? We've traded into a discount. We've traded into a monthly fair value gap and a weekly fair value gap. And then we have a daily MBZ and then a weekly MBZ on top of that, right? So now we have stacked. These two indicators stacked on each other are absolutely phenomenal. It's amazing to use these indicators. Can't express how much I use this in my day-to-day trading, right? For my higher time frame bias to my lower time frame bias, this is all fractal, right? If I want to look at 4-hour examples, I can do so, right? If I want to identify higher time frame MBZs on the higher, again on the higher time frame, and then use the lower time frame, there we go. This is a more clear example. So what am I looking at here, right? We have 4-hour chart, and then we also have our MBZ here. This is our MBZ range, right? This entire MBZ on the higher time frame, okay? This is very, very important. Very, very important to know, okay? Now, on the 4-hour chart, which MBZ is it marking for me, right? I'm going to bring the weekly back here. So on the 4-hour chart, we have multiple views. We have the daily, and then we can choose what we want, of course. Automatically, I'm just waiting for this to load before I start saying anything else, right? Daily and then weekly here. Notice the weekly MBZ with the 4-hour chart here, right? Now notice this is very important. We have a weekly MBZ. This is what that entire range is. You can also use the daily as well to your advantage, right? We have a 4-hour MBZ existing within this higher time frame weekly MBZ here, right? We get a bullish signal here. Price pushes up to the -1, comes back all the way down, takes this low out, still hasn't disrespected this MBZ. Our stop loss that we're using here is this specific level here, this 1.5, right? So using this fair value gap, we have a bullish MBZ. Notice that this is the only one that pops up. This is the only indicator or signal that pops up that tells us, hey, this is price gaining momentum. This might be a continuation to the upside. What happens here, once this candle closes, it gives us that confirmation. I can show you guys the replay mode here and how that looks like specifically, right? Obviously, you know, the week doesn't fully close until Friday, right? So we can't really see some of these higher time frame indicators actually pop up with their MBZs until that weekly candle is closed. And that's why I mentioned using the daily also works very well on the 4-hour. But as you can see here, that weekly fair value gap or MBZ, weekly MBZ with this 4-hour MBZ as well as this fair value gap confirmation is giving us that signal to long. So what you're looking for is at least the -1 here, 2 and 4. So if we take a look, price pushes up to the 1. There's a bearish MBZ that forms here, right? Notice that. What happens to this bearish MBZ? It's respected. We now come down, take this low out. Then that bearish MBZ is finally disrespected. We have confluence. We have a bullish MBZ on the weekly, bullish MBZ on the 4-hour here, and it continues and pushes up to the -4. That's your buy signal there. And as you can see here, we have formed a bearish MBZ, right? With this indicator on the MBZ model, we're not seeing a very significant higher time frame MBZ. We are seeing one on the daily here, and now we have a bearish daily MBZ, and we have a 4-hour bearish MBZ. I wonder what's going to happen here. Are we going to see a retracement? Are we going to touch the -1? Let's see what happens here. If I go ahead and click play, I mean, we're pretty much up to date here, right? I thought it would give us more, but we're pretty much up to date there. So if I go ahead and leave that there, now what I am waiting for myself is I'm interested in seeing if price can now head to the -1, right? I see a bearish MBZ alongside the daily bearish MBZ right over here, and we've already traded into a monthly volume balance. I am looking for a discounted move regardless based on this low and this high. We have a large imbalance here, right, including this volume balance here, and now we're at least looking at 50% of this range, which also lines up with our -2 and our -1. I at least want to see these levels be hit, and then who knows, maybe price will continue to push up as long as these imbalances are respected, right? But for now, that's what we're looking at. MBZ is a framework that allows you to long, allows you to short, based on these specific ranges. It's a very mechanical framework, right? If I wanted to long here, if I wanted to long at the opening of this, my stop loss would be set here. Let's say I'm trading micros, right? Let's say my target is here, or if I want to put my stop to this low, my RR changes completely. We have a 2R now, right? If I want to target the 4 and I want to change my stop loss here, my R is 2.68. Very mechanical framework, mechanical model here that we're using. But yeah, so this is what I used to be able to identify price potentially heading up higher. We also took a low out here, and we had that continuation. This MBZ stood strong. It wasn't invalidated. It used a higher time frame MBZ as well. And this is the beauty of using ICT and the MBZ model framework. Again, MBZ is something that has been created by the Blueprint community, which is by Nine and myself. And we use this throughout our everyday trading, throughout our swing trading, and our higher time frame analysis. All right. As always, if you guys have any questions, please do let me know in the Discord and, of course, in the chat. These indicators, we have multiple indicators that are included within the premium membership within the Blueprint. So if you are interested in specifically these indicators alongside to use with ICT concepts, please feel free to head over into our community. And again, you don't need these indicators to trade at all. I want to make that clear. But they are very, very helpful tools to capture trades, but also to identify your bias and to identify where price is potentially heading to, right? With that being said, I'm very interested to see what happens this week. I am looking for a retracement back into this range. We have created a gap here, a volume imbalance, I should say, and now we have this larger potential imbalance that will be forming on the daily. I'm very curious to see what happens on Thursday and where price will go to next within the week. Hope this video helped you guys. Hope this recap helped. As always, I love doing these recaps. If you guys have any questions, let me know. We do have a free section in Discord if you guys want to hop in and join there. There's lots of great people who give great insights, lots of analysts, and lots of people who are in the same space. All right. Hope you guys all have a fantastic day, and I will catch you guys next time.